Good afternoon, Michelle. Yes, with the Jubilee Vice Chair David Murathe, and apart from BBI, there are other pressing matters from the region or the Mount Kenya region that the Jubilee Vice Chair would want to put to that. And of course, we'll also be putting him, if time allows, what his perspective is for those who feel like the clamor for this particular amendment on the Constitution is at most actually being engineered by the political class, unlike the 2010 when it had every sphere actually on board who had pushed for change to the Constitution or the constitutional reforms all along from the early 90s until the culmination that was 2010. Vice Chair, we would want to know the position. Of course, there were mixed reactions, particularly how the BBI validation exercise ended in Bomas. Some felt like it was an anticlimax. Some expected a specific pronouncement from the president and his core in the BBI on what exactly. And now it appears like some are groping in the dark. What happened at Bomas?
Well, the BBI was actually launched the first time, and it was felt that we needed another round for validation. Because when you go around the country collecting views and you produce a report, then people want to know that report which you have produced, is it what they said? So you go another round, where I remember even people like Musalia Mudavadi, and even the deputy president is quoted as saying, even though we did not go in as a party, he had sent his own people under the table to give his views to the task force. So the process of validation was to add, deduct, and refine and fine-tune what came out of the first report, which was launched. And that is why this second one, there was no launching. I've seen people saying the thing was not launched. There was nothing to be launched. It was already launched and then went for validation. So what was brought, which was received by the president and the former prime minister in Kisii, was a validated report of the task force. And the work of the task force died. I want to correct you somewhere. When you say that in the 2010 constitution, the clamor for a change in the constitution since 1990 to 2010, it is not correct. The main forces that fought the 2010 constitution, led by the then Deputy President William Ruto, was the church. And they had issues with that constitution. And Kibaki told us, this thing may be 80% good, there is 20% which may be problematic. And those are issues to be addressed at a future date to accommodate the issues that were raised by the no that time, which included the church. So this is what we are doing. This is what people wanted, to deal with the 20% bad in the 2010 constitution.
Maybe it's a matter that will continue to elicit mixed reaction, but I want to pick your mind on the political undercurrents from the mountain region, Central. And we hear as a particular leadership from the region, there are concerns on the inroads, the forays that the second in command continues making in the region, and some appear to be uncomfortable. Why are people all of a sudden uncomfortable with the deputy president's move in the region, whereas he's been crisscrossing these areas for long? What has changed this time round?
Nobody is worried. Nobody is bothered. He can visit the mountain as many times as he wishes. Now, the only issue that people are raising, number one, is it only Mount Kenya that needs Harambes, for example? Is it only Mount Kenya youth that need empowerment? Is it only Mount Kenya women who need? When did you last hear the deputy president going to Eldoret or to Nandi or to the Rift Valley to empower women or to deal with border borders in his backyard? Why is it so important? We feel that the deputy president is on a radicalization mission in Mount Kenya. And we are cautioning our people. He's free to come. In fact, we have decided, let him tour, let him be received. He will come, he will go. We don't think it will have any impact. But he must be careful not to radicalize our young people. We used to have Mongeke in a central region. A lot of our young people died. Now, when you bring this narrative of the haves and the have-nots, that was the Mongeke philosophy. That is what they are engineering, and that is what they are reincarnating, because it is very appealing to the young people, the touts, the people who feel that they are poor because you're rich. And then you have the rich versus the poor, you have the hustlers versus the dynasties, and you radicalize these young people. It is a recipe for chaos, it is a recipe for violence, and it is a recipe for disaster. And this is what the concerns are, that surely whatever we are seeing him doing in Mount Kenya region, he should be showing us, he should be doing it in Rift Valley, and we see it. There is something which is not adding up about the script that they are running in Mount Kenya region.
But the DP is not going there unaccompanied, and somebody would argue the Constitution guarantees freedom of association, freedom of movement, and freedom of expression.
But why just move to Mount Kenya? That is a question. And he's very selective. Do you know how many times the deputy president has been to the mountain region? He is going back to the Rakanidi. He was there last weekend. He's going back to Kirinyaga. He was there a week ago. He's going back to Muranga after the people died in Keno. The people who are hosting him are not even the local leadership. I'm told Dede Nyoro is doing Madioya. He's not the MP for Madioya. He's the MP for Keharu. I'm told Alice Wahome is doing the Kangema one. She's not the local MP. We have Muturi Kegano. If it is something that will benefit our women, our young people, why don't you go with the leadership of that particular constituency? This is an agenda, a TangaTanga agenda, which is radicalizing our people. And we have to be very careful, and he has to be told. He's free to tour any part of this country. He is free to enter Mount Kenya as many times as he wants, but we are watching. And if he continues to try and radicalize our young people, our youth, our unemployed, instead of giving them meaningful economic empowerment agendas, like the BBI is trying to do, to create an enabling environment for these people to get gainful employment, not handouts.
Finally, the last question, we'll keep it brief because of time, we'll appreciate. But some would say this appears to be, what do people want him to do? One, he was banned from accessing party headquarters by the SG. Then there was an NMC proposal to NEC that he be removed as the deputy party leader. And now there are these concerns that you are calling, in your opinion, radicalization. What exactly, where does this leave him? What would ideally would be expected of him? And have these issues been raised with him because he's the country's second in command?
Those issues he should raise with the party leader. He's a deputy party leader. Administratively, the Secretary General is the head of the party at the party headquarters. The issues the Secretary General was raising was about the pronouncements which they had made about a so-called Jubilee Asili. And they had even a Jubilee Asili Center, where they said they would be conducting their issues. We had an issue with the deputy president monopolizing Jubilee headquarters to conduct his personal campaigns. There will be people challenging the deputy president for the party ticket in 2022. Now, why would you want to give one person the advantage operating from the party headquarters to the exclusion of his other potential competitors? I think that is the issue that the Secretary General was addressing.
Fair enough. We'll continue with that interview. Michelle, for now, I think we'll have to leave it at that because I understand you have lined up another leader that you'd want to engage. So from here, over to you in studio, Michelle.
Many thanks. Our senior political reporter Duncan Hyamba there speaking to Jubilee Vice Chair David Murathe. Now, during Monday's launch, the Building Bridges Initiative report, Sitam Bishop David Oginde called for a de-escalation of political rhetoric, especially with the reggae and the hustler narratives, calling for a sober discourse. Bishop Oginde now joins me live on News Desk. Bishop, many thanks for your time. The handshake was a ceasefire after the hotly contested 2017 elections. It was, however, followed